Now that is some corrosion that means it. So I actually didn't find this guy. This was found by my buddy. We're out here doing inspections together. And boy, do you never know what you're gonna find on an inspection. So obviously you take this box in, the first thing that stands out is the big green spot on this wire up in here. These fuses were obviously in at the time. Clearly cause for concern. But this isn't the kind of corrosion I see most of the time. Usually when I'm seeing corrosion on multiple wires or throughout the unit. There's an external moisture source or something like that. But this is like pinpoint. It is just this wire and nothing else. Not even its partner over there, just this wire. Sort of the second thing that you notice is that this wire is not in the expected fuse holder position. Now that doesn't matter, any of these 5 fuse holders, as long as any of these wires are, on the proper polarity side, it'll work. It's all one MPPT. But why put this down here as opposed to up in here? You might not be able to see it from the camera here, but there is absolutely corrosion in this fuse holder under that connection. So probably this has been doing this for a while. I'm guessing that this wire was originally up in there, and then when it got discovered that this was corroding, they cut off the end, moved it down a peg, and put it in the lower fuse holder. But that didn't solve the problem, did it? So let's track this down. So usually corrosion comes from moisture. We are not seeing any moisture in here. The best we could theorize was maybe there's moisture coming through the conductor. That is possible. If there's a break in the conductor, I guess you could get a capillary effect going up in. Go around the back, go up and over. These are all external conduits, so it's not like there's water pressure coming up in. So we start tracing these back. We start tracing them back to see the quality of the wire. And while the wire management is nothing to write home about, the wire itself doesn't seem to be in bad condition, and all the other home run connections, like all the field made connections, they look like they're solidly done. They look like they're tight enough. They look like they're done correctly. So we were very confused until we got here. I've marked this out for easy discovery, but on this side is where our home runs are, and you see that bird nest? Almost never is that really a problem. I at least haven't had bird nests cause issues. They've just sort of been there, and you always take them off because it's good to not have things on our wires. But we get closer. Let me know when you see it. I'm kind of afraid to touch it, and I'm not here to do troubleshooting, so we're gonna leave it as it is. But there is bare wire right in there. I don't know if that makes it any easier to see, but right in there, we absolutely have some bare copper just hanging out. So when the birds built the nest, they probably damaged this cable, got worse and worse. Maybe something ate around the cable insulation. The cable insulation is also clearly deteriorated over time. So it probably didn't take a lot for it to start, and I don't know how far back this goes, but the moisture of a bird nest certainly didn't help. Probably this has been ground faulting for a while. So obviously this is what's going on. This is the problem. But why are we getting corrosion over here? So this may be a recency bias thing, or like, every problem could be solved with a hammer when you first learn how to use a hammer type of a thing. But I just went to a Megger session at NABCEP, the NABCEP conference in Reno. They talked about insulation testing and adapting for impurities on the outside of a conductor. Because while your insulator may be insulating, the stuff on the outside of your insulator is not necessarily electrical proof. The dirt and the grime that cakes up on your conductors if you don't keep them super duper clean all the time, or even just from environmental existence, you can have trace amounts of current traveling on the outside of your insulator back to where your conductor connects. And given the ring of corrosion around the outside of the insulation there, I would almost bet money that that's what's happening here, that we are having a parallel current path because of the ground fault way down there. I feel like I say this all the time, but this job is so cool. I get to learn new stuff like this all the time. If you want to get the best at solar that anyone can be, start as an installer, sure, but work your way over to service. It sounds scary. It can be complicated. There's a lot of frustration. but you learn and see so much that nobody else ever does. It's so cool.